School, the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Vinton County High School welcomes you to this interscholastic contest between the Athens High School and the Vinton County High School. Your attendance and support for student athletes on the court at today's game is appreciated by both member schools competing tonight. Though both schools are rivals, they are expected to senior, trainer.
Welcome everybody to BMG Media's live coverage of high school basketball. Tonight, the Vinton County Vikings take on the Athens Bulldogs, a TVC Ohio matchup. Alongside my partner Brad Rose, I'm Nathan Lamb. We've got special co-commentator with us tonight, the one and the only John Boy Brewster.
It's good to be here, man.
So for those of you that don't know, John, you are a member of the Athens High School football staff and is a former member of the basketball staff, which is why we thought this would be perfect to get you over here to call the game with us. You know these kids. You know what they're capable of. And this is a big game for the Vikings tonight. Brad, I'll start with you. The Vikings, the last handful of games, have really found the scoring to coming a little bit easier than it has so far this season. But tonight, this is a Bulldogs team that the Vikings beat earlier this year over in the Plains. What's the game plan tonight to secure another TVC Ohio victory for the Vikings?
First and foremost, it's defense. If we can do what we normally do on the defensive side of the ball, we got a good chance at this ball game. But like you said, here recently, we found that influx of offense, which is something we're not used to here this season. It's usually play great defense, score what you need to, get out of town. Hopefully tonight, this defense will come back, matching the offense. But I really think this is going to be a heck of a matchup, Nathan.
So before we tip, John, the Vikings come in with 11 wins on the season, Athens with 3. The Bulldogs barely lost to a team in Greenfield McLean earlier this year. It was just a couple-point difference. That team had the Vikings down by 22 in the third quarter. Now, the Vikings came back and won that game. What's Athens got to do tonight as we tip this thing off to pull one of those upsets like that?
Got to control the pace tonight. Coach Carzart's got to have that 2-3 zone that gives teams problems all night. And honestly, just set the pace. If they can control the pace of the game and limit the Vikings on offense, they're going to have a shot. Just got to compete.
So the Bulldogs start with the ball. Martin's got it out top. Leo Martin, we saw him, Bradley, on the football field last
heck of a player.
Fall. And again, John, a lot of the players out here you coached a few months ago.
He's a good one, man. He's a foxhole guy. That's what I call him.
Newsom's got the ball. Allman all over him. He kicks it back out. And the ball stolen by Brown. Brown going to run coast to coast. Up off glass, no good. He'll go to the line for 2. And John, this is where you're going to help me out here.
Yeah.
I don't have a 33 on my roster.
So that is Marshall McCamick. He's a sophomore.
Okay. They got him listed as 23. So, Brad, let me
go right ahead, Nathan.
You want to change that on there, Brad?
Yeah, I can do that.
I'll do it on my list here. I knew you'd come in handy, Brewster. I knew it. So the Vikings with a little bit of press. as the 2 free throws are good, and they're up 2-0.
This has been the one big bugaboo for the Dogs this year is the press.
Well, and it's something that we didn't used to see a whole lot of with hoops. I'm sorry, with cones. That's a bad habit.
Well, I hope Coach Combs isn't watching tonight, Brad.
That's my fault.
Wow, you know he's coming back over here for the Jackson game.
It won't be the first time he's had to get on me about something.
You might want to go ahead and miss that night.
You think Unioda, you think hoops. I know we know Combs.
Hey, now, how can you not think Combs when you think of Unioda?
You do. I mean, he graduated the same year I did, in 92, but as of late, it's hoops. You don't think Combs. You think Vinton County when you think Combs.
There's a bucket by the Bulldogs, and we've got a tie game with 6:27 to go as Brown shoots a 3. That one's in. Good sign for the Vikings when Garrett Brown hits them early, Brad.
He does.
Yeah, I feel like this year he's really expanded his range. I don't remember him being so deadly from that deep.
There's a steal by the Vikings. Sharp drives, dishes to Higher, and he goes up off glass and in. So the Vikings now lead 7-2 with 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Bulldogs get it across. Mullins has it, knocked out of bounds, and it'll stay
off Schonborn, maybe.
Oh, we've got a foul call on Schonborn.
Wow.
So the Dogs will take it out. And Mullins has it, and he throws it inside, and they're going to call a travel on Newsom. Another turnover on the Bulldogs. This is a Bulldog team that the Vikings, again, beat earlier this season over at McAfee Gymnasium by a score of 61-27 as Allman goes up and gets a 2-pointer, make it 9-2.
Nice left-hand finish by Allman.
There's another steal by Sharp, and they're going to call a charge. A nice job there by
That was actually a good call.
Leo Martin getting his feet set and drawing the foul. Again, the Vikings press. Martin brings it across. He's going to be bumped into, and Schonborn's going to pick up 2 quick fouls, and he's going to take a seat as Matt Hembry comes in for Parker.
Bulldogs finding those creases in the press right there. Pretty easy break.
Newsom gets it in. Trainer over into the corner. Newsom's got it. He's going to drive. Right around Higher. Goes up. The ball hits the bottom of the backboard. They're going to call a foul on Higher. Coach Kite. I don't think Coach Kite's quite happy with all these fouls that his players are committing here. They've already got 4, Brad. Yeah, and the next one's going to be a 2-point shot regardless. Not good this early in the quarter. There's 5:14 left. Easton. Newsom's first shot short.
If you're Coach Kite, you're going to want to rankle that in a little bit here early.
Second shot in, 9-3. Sharp's got the ball for the Vikings. Sharp drives, tries to dish it to Allman, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Vinton County. Like you said, John, the Bulldogs, their 3 wins this season, they've held teams to 53 points as there's a steal. Martin, he's going to drive, puts up the shot, tried to draw the foul, no foul called, and Higher comes down with the ball, gets it ahead. Sharp up off glass and in, and it's now 11-3. But 53 points in their first win of the year over Wellston. 33 is what they held Alexander to, and 35 to River Valley. So you're absolutely right. Slowing the pace down does lend itself to a chance for the Bulldogs to pull off an upset. They did lose to McLean, like I said earlier, 41-39. So
Yeah.
you talk about another slowed game, slowed pace.
Leading at half.
And they were in that ball game as well.
Up on
so.
Jackson by 10, I believe, at half, and had a big third quarter by Jackson to really put them over the top. So they've been in some really close games, some tough ones. They just haven't been able to finish games. That's been a problem.
So right now they find themselves down 11-3 with 4:20 left to go, and they're going to get, I thought, another tie-up. The ball's going to be knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Vikings. The Vikings average 18 points in the first quarter. Right now they are at 11. This is a Vikings team throughout the year that has mostly gotten off to pretty quick starts. Again, we mentioned the McLean game. They were slow, Bradley, in that one for what?
Oh, the better part of the game, if you ask me.
It wasn't until late in the third quarter and the fourth quarter and then 2 overtimes that they came back in that one and stormed back. They really haven't looked back since that second half against McLean, as now they're up 13-3 with 3:50 left in the first quarter. And 22 that's 32 out there. Hughes in the game.
Numbers are off a little bit.
So 32 is actually a freshman. That is Weston Wheatley. If you remember, Landon Wheatley was his older brother, graduated a few years ago.
Yes, I do remember that. And I tell you what, Brad, Coach Kite gave us this roster.
Yeah, it's all.
There's a 3 by the Bulldogs. It's now 13-6.
44 Mullins is a sophomore. I remember him coming up through Hocking Valley Basketball League.
Yep.
And very good player, 6'4", always been tall. Yeah, I'll make an adjustment on that, Nathan.
Appreciate it, Brad. As Hayden Reynolds in the game. Hayden's our 6th man. Well, mostly. I guess we have about 3 6 men, right, Brad?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are embarrassment of riches over here this year, man.
The Vikings score again, 15-6. But Hayden Reynolds is a kid that can come in, and we've seen it already this year. What do you have, 5 or 6 threes in the New Hope game?
I mean, he wouldn't really be
It was the
considered
Wellston game.
Wouldn't really be considered a 6th man. I mean, he could start pretty much any roster in the TVC.
We are blessed with talent. And, I mean, it goes back 25 years.
Yep. Nothing new. You know what you're going to get.
You just keep reloading here. Cobra Sharp gets the dish, puts it up off the backboard. It's going to fall short, but he'll draw the foul and go to the line for 2. With 2:28 left to go in the first quarter, the Vikings up 15-6. So since the Vikings picked up those 4 quick fouls in the first 2.5 minutes of the quarter, they have yet to commit another. As the Bulldogs are going to call time. So we've got a timeout here. We're going to take a break. Hear a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back. Thank you to Corrine Smith Photography for allowing us to use her photos for our player of the game. Mention seeing this ad to her, and she will include a complimentary 8x10 photo. Contact Corrine today to schedule a session at 740-688-9928. True fans know that success in basketball is all about tradition, dedication, and loyalty. Those same qualities are important to the Lockhart Insurance Agency. We care about what's important to you, and that's why we believe in helping you select the right insurance for your needs. We're proud to support companies like Ohio Mutual Insurance Group. If you want to protect your home, auto, farm, or business, you want Ohio Mutual on your team. Give us a call at 740-384-2020. We'd love to help evaluate your insurance needs and recommend the best coverage from the... All right, free throw is no good as we're back here, Vinton County High School. 2:28 to go in the first quarter, 15-6, the Vikings lead. Cobra Sharp at the line, Nathan Lamb alongside Brad Rose and John Brewster. Second shot, no good. Now, Brad, that's something that we talked about before. Cobra Sharp, deadly from the free throw line, but the last couple games, that's really been something that the Vikings team as a whole hasn't really done that well.
The touch has just been off the line.
Pretty well blocked right there.
Yeah.
Sharp drives, hits, but go ahead, finish your thought there, Brad.
I mean, the touch has been off a little bit at the line, but right there, Cobra can show you that he still has the touch at the rim.
17-6, under 2 minutes to go, first quarter.
That kid can hit it.
There's a 3.
Ball movement.
No doubt.
Leo Martin, the junior. I look down this list. See a lot of juniors on this squad.
A lot
Bruce.
of juniors, a lot of sophomores, man. I know Coach Mix has been rough for him this season, but we talk often. I said, man, just keep grinding. The future is bright. You just got to keep keep getting these young kids better. I mean, you look out here. We've been blessed with talent the last couple of years, just like you guys have. So a lot of these kids are getting first-year playing time, and you see that. You see that at times, and you guys know what it's like. So they just got to stay the course, keep grinding, and the future will be all right. It'll take care of itself.
So the Vikings at 17 points. That is their first quarter average, 17.7. The Bulldogs at their first quarter average of 9 points right now. So far, the law of averages is playing out.
Nice look.
And the ball is stolen by Garrett Brown. Sharp going to drive. Thought twice about taking it to the rack. Brown from deep, and that's no good. Rebounded to Trainer for the Bulldogs. We're under 45 seconds left in the first quarter. Bulldogs trying to inch closer here before the end of this one. We'll see if they hold for one or try to go quickly. As the ball's thrown inside to Mullins, he was not looking for it as Hayden Reynolds goes, and they're going to call a offensive foul on Reynolds.
Wow.
So the Bulldogs will get the ball back, and that's the 5th foul. Now that being an offensive foul, that does not constitute 2 free throws, but any other foul would be 2 shots for the Bulldogs here in this quarter. Clock is under 30 seconds. Martin with the ball. He drives on Hembry, goes between the legs. Straight to the rack, up off the glass and no good, but he'll go to the line for 2. Nice little move there inside behind the back, between the legs.
Against one of our best defenders, Matthew Hembry. That was a nice
definitely
move
the
by
quickest
Martin.
player on the floor for the Vikings.
Without a doubt.
First shot is up and in. It's now a 7-point ball game. Bulldogs again with 3 wins on the season. Vikings with 12. Second shot hits about every part of the rim and comes off. 17-10. We'll see if the Vikings hold down. I believe they will. Cobra Sharp, Tritipo in the game now. And they get it into Brown. Turnaround jumper no good. Rebound by Hire. And he goes up. His shot's no good. Rebounded to the Bulldogs. And they're not going to get a shot off. The end of the first quarter, though, 17-10. Does this lead to some success for the Bulldogs, or is this more how the Vikings want this one to go, like the pace of the game so far? Because we've talked about it. We've seen a quicker pace. We've seen a slower pace. We got a 7-point ball game right now in the first quarter. You got one team that's won 12 games. They're undefeated in league play. You got another team trying to play spoiler in the Bulldogs. They have nothing to lose. Kind of pace, what's this pace favor right now in this at the end of the first quarter?
Right now I say neither. It's kind of in between. It's not been real slow like Athens would like to slow the game down and kind of drag this into the lower digit scoring.
Yeah.
And Vinton County would like to get out and pace the ball, and we're not seeing either one right now. Both teams are trying to flex to get that strength going on what they would like this ball, the flow of this game to go.
I agree. I think what also is going to determine that is what are they going to call foul-wise.
Yes.
You saw those fouls pick up, and it felt like Vinton backed off a little bit in that press. If they allow them to get physical and they allow this game to develop like that, I feel like that favors Vinton County in a way. If they start calling those fouls and now Vinton starts wondering, do we need to back off to, prevent ourselves getting in a bad spot, that could really dictate that as well.
Yeah, I have to agree.
And the turnovers. If the Bulldogs can cut those a little bit and make this a little closer, you start putting a little pressure on them a little bit.
So the Dogs start with the ball in the second quarter, 17-10. Hughes has the ball. He's going to drive on Tritipo. Kicks it back out to Martin. Martin gets it over to McCammon, and that's going to be a block on Hughes. Sharp drives. Jump step.
Great jump step.
And he puts it in. 19-10.
I got to say, it's been impressive to watch him grow from a freshman to where he's at now. He's really done a great job.
Well, and to that point, Sharp took over the reins as a sophomore starting point guard.
Yeah.
You're really seeing that pay off as a junior. He's already got the experience. and still has a year and a half left.
That is scary for the rest of the TVC.
As he turns it over. Broadcaster's jinx. Right there. I've never done that. Nice. As there's a block by Reynolds. Hughes went for the shot. Tritipo has it. Gets it over Reynolds. That's his spot if he wants it. He drives. And we've got another charge on Hayden Reynolds. Another offensive foul. That's his second.
If you're the Vikings, you got to play some things safe here. You don't want to get into foul trouble early in this game.
Yeah.
So the Vikings have kind of gone away from that early press we saw in the first part of the first quarter as they hold a 9-point lead. Joe Martin takes it down. He tries to throw it over to Newsom, and the ball's knocked and stolen by Owen Heyer. Brown has it. He drives around. And gets stripped from behind. Nice defensive effort there. The Bulldogs are out and running. It's 2-on-3, and the ball gets poked away.
That was a great job coming from behind.
Tritipo knocked it loose, and it'll stay with the Bulldogs.
Good hustle play by Tritipo there.
About to get a 5-second call.
And they're going to call 5. As Newsom could not find anyone open.
I really thought he'd throw that ball off of Heyer's back.
Yeah, had the opportunity, absolutely.
We've seen that a few times. For us and against us.
Yeah, we have.
Sharp gets it over to Tritipo, back to Sharp. Like the Bulldogs setting in the zone right now. Ian Moeller in the game for the Vikings. As Sharp takes it to the rack, in and out, no good, and it's tipped up and in by Moeller. And John, didn't I send you that snippet of Moeller's Monster Jam there from a week ago? That was amazing.
That was awesome.
Kid's got some hops, so. As there's a 3, straight on.
Nice shot.
Nails it.
Nice shot.
32, that is
Weston Wheatley.
Wheatley again.
Yes.
You told me that once.
It's all right. Good job.
And Brown scores for the Vikings. 5:17 to go, 23-13.
Drive right there.
We talked to Garrett a little this year, talked to his dad. He's up, 5 o'clock every day, headed to the weight room just north of town at Titletown.
Congrats to him, 1,000 points. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's he's helped set some records pretty much all season or all school year long. As there's a nice shot by Martin. 23-15, Dogs hanging around. 8-point game. Staying in the zone. Tritipo going to try one from the Viking head. That missed everything. And Sharp nearly saved it, nearly took out some cheerleaders, and it'll go back to the Bulldogs.
Everyone stays safe.
Yeah.
We've already saw in the JV game, I don't think we had it on the air, but in the JV game we had a player knock over 3 or 4 bench players. You weren't here yet.
No,
man.
I wasn't. I wasn't in the arena.
You were running late today.
I was a little later than usual.
You know, those 85-hour work weeks you put together, Brad, there's really no excuse.
No.
There's a shot, no good. Rebound by the Vikings. Sharp's got it. Go behind the back, up and no good. That would have been awesome if he made it. I think it caught just a little bit on the back.
Yeah, had he been able to finish, that's a highlight reel move.
That was.
There.
4:08 to go.
Nash Yates on the floor.
Yates looked pretty good in the JV game. As Allman, he's going to draw the foul, and he'll go to the line. Foul going to be called on Newsom. And they're going to call it on Mullins. There I go again.
Hey, what's confusing, we get certain numbers, and they're off by like 1 digit.
Well, I got all kinds of chicken scratches on my roster, too.
Trying to update the computer. we're just off right now. You're going to have to get on Kite about this.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I will cut him a little bit of slack. Zach actually had to have a new jersey tonight, so his number is usually 34.
So so out of the 3 mistakes, one of them is legit.
Yeah.
As Allman misses the second free throw, Brad, again, we talked about that. That's playing into the hands of the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it does. You got to make your free throws.
Deep
Boom.
three. There it is. Mullins, New Jersey. Maybe just keep on wearing that one.
Yeah.
This is a ball game now, fellas.
23-18, 5-point game. We'll be right back after this message. Are you in the market for a reliable and affordable used car? Look no further than Wheels and Deals, your trusted used car lot right here in Pomeroy, Ohio. Located at 308 East Main Street, Wheels and Deals is your one-stop destination for quality pre-owned vehicles. We've got a wide selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, and more, all waiting for you to take them for a spin. At Wheels and Deals, we understand that finding the perfect vehicle can be challenging. That's why our friendly and knowledgeable staff is here to help you every step of the way. We'll listen to your needs and budget to find the right car at the right price. So don't hesitate and contact us today at 740-992-4443 or visit us online at www.wheelsanddeals1.com. Welcome back to BMG Media's live coverage of Vikings basketball. The Vikings lead the Bulldogs 23-18 in what has been a pretty good second quarter by the Dogs. They cut into the lead.
It's definitely the way they want it to go right now.
Again, setting back in that zone. Brown's going to try to hit from straight on. No good, and a big-time rebound by Mullins. As he hits the deck, Martin brings it across. Again, Mullins nailed that three earlier. Martin's hit a big three.
Mismatch here.
He's got the mismatch. He goes up and over Allman and
Finishes.
gets the roll. It's now a three-point ball game, 23-20.
Beautiful shot.
Dogs feeling some life right now.
They got it rolling right now, that's for certain.
Embry with the ball. Brown. He's going to drive. And into the corner, back out to Brown. Setting back in that zone. Brown misses the three. And off and running. And to the rack and block by Brown.
There's going to be some people on the Athens side that don't like that, but that's good defense, man.
And Brown blocks on one end, comes back, hits the spinning shot on the other.
Big bucket by Brown. Needed to end that run
Absolutely.
by the Bulldogs.
Wheatley with the ball for Athens. It's 25-20. Newsom, he's blocked.
There was some body on that.
Again, fouls 1-1. 2:11 to go, second quarter. Nobody in foul trouble so far. Mullins tried to drive ball, knocked away, poked away again. It's going to go back to the Bulldogs. So Wheatley with some good defense on Brown. And Newsom will take it out. Leo Martin, Schonborn back in the game after picking up those two quick fouls early on. Martin again. Step back over Allman. Shot is short.
Oh, boy.
Good
And
outlook.
they throw it ahead to Hire. Hire off glass, no good. Rebound to Newsom. Got a 5-point game, 1:35 to go. First half, Newsom gets it back out to Mullins. Mullins looking for something. No foul called, gets it over. And from the elbow, shot's no good by Newsom, and the rebound goes to Owen Hire, and we've got a double dribble.
Oh,
By Mr. Hire. So the Bulldogs will have it back yet again.
some sloppy ball both ways, fellas.
Yeah. They just got to settle in here,
Yeah.
both teams.
Biggest lead of the night for the Vikings at 10. The Bulldogs cut it to 3 just a minute or two ago. Looking to cut it maybe to 2. As they're down by 5, they get it in. Mullins over to Newsom. His shot, too strong, no good. Rebound by Schonborn. Schonborn brings it across the timeline, gets it to Sharp. Sharp, spin move, throws it over, and they're going to call travel.
Wow. Ooh.
So another turnover. First part of the first quarter, it was the Bulldogs turning it over, and now it's the Vikings.
Back into the press. I like that by Coach Knight. It's a good call.
The ball is knocked out of bounds, and Bruce's tablet and drink just
he'll get her cleaned up here.
That's not good. Going to need a towel or two, I think. 59 seconds left in the first half. Dogs down by 5. Wheatley with the ball. He's got
good defense.
Mullins has it. Gets it inside to Wheatley. Wheatley blocked from behind, but picked up by Newsom, and his shot's no good. And I have a feeling the longer this stays close, the more physical this game's going to get, fellas. And there's a nice strip steal by Mullins. Martin with 25 seconds left. Has it in the corner. Throws it back out to Mullins. Mullins shoots if it goes. Too strong, no good. Rebound by Garrett Brown. That would have been massive for the Bulldogs. 15 seconds left. Vikings up by 5. Brown drives inside. Throws it back out to Sharp. 10 seconds left.
Here's where the experience comes in.
Sharp to Hire. Higher inside. Allman.
Great play.
Shot is short, no good. And Mullins came down with the rebound. And this, fellas, is a 5-point ball game against two teams that are on the opposite end of the league standings. More impressive tonight, Brad, the Bulldogs' ability to, because let's face it, they got down by 10 early on, but to claw their way back in this game and muddy it up, how big is that for them tonight?
Absolutely. That's the difference in the game right now. And I think this is Athens' ball right now. I think we're playing their style of ball. Everything seems to be going their way. And Vinton County's offense looks a little bit slow. We don't have as much movement. Defensively, they're still there. But I'm not so sure, like Brewster said, we need to get back into that press.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, Brewster. The press worked really well in the first quarter for the Vikings in terms of turning Athens over. Multiple turnovers in the first quarter. Got out to that 10-point lead, then they went away from it. Bulldogs in the second half hit some shots, timely threes, sat in that zone, made it difficult for the Vikings to drive. They missed some threes of their own, and they find themselves down by 5. What are we going to see in the second half? Is the Vikings going to come out and press? Bulldogs going to stay in that zone? What do you do here if you're Coach Cozart as opposed to Coach Kite in your adjustments coming into the second half?
Well, I can bet my whole house that they're going to stay in the zone. Absolutely. That's been the MO for 11 years that we've been here. And I'll tell you, it's obviously it's worked as well. The difference for me is Vinton took advantage of Athens' turnovers early in the game. Athens has yet to do that. As sloppy as Vinton did, played in that second quarter, what they gave up? 8 points Vinton had?
Yeah.
As sloppy as they were in that second quarter, the Dogs never really took a massive advantage of that. Kept giving the ball back to him, and if I'm Coach Knight, I'm back in the press. You know, I don't know, maybe he felt like the way the game was getting called, that he had to pull the Dogs off a little bit. You know, maybe got a little too comfortable. I don't want to speak for him, but I'm absolutely at halftime thinking, let's press them back up, especially with the way they allowed them to play down that stretch of the game there in the first half. I think the refs kind of pulled back on the whistles a little bit and allowed it to get a little bit more physical, which I think can go both ways. In a game for Athens, if it gets muddy like that, like you said, Brad, that can be really good. But when you look out on the court, there's no doubt that Vinton is the more physical, the bigger stature of a team. So I think it can go both ways there. And, you know, I think now with Vinton having a 5-point lead can favor them, and coming out in the third quarter can really stretch that out a little bit. And that's really they've struggled, the Dogs. Young team coming out of halftime. How do they, go in thinking, wow, 5-point down, we're in a game. How do they come out and play in the second half? Because that's something that they've kind of had a letdowns, and maybe tonight's the night that they can close that gap a little bit. So yeah, I 100% know that Mickey's going to stay in that 2-3 zone, and I would not be surprised if Coach Knight comes out on the press like he did to start the game.
All right, so we've got 7.5 minutes left in this halftime. We're going to hear from our sponsors. Take a little break, and we'll be back for second half action coming up here on BMG. Thank you to Corrine Smith Photography for allowing us to use her photos for our Player of the Game. Mention seeing this ad to her, and she will include a complimentary 8x10 photo. Contact Corrine today to schedule a session at 740-688-9928. Are you in the market for a reliable and affordable used car? Look no further than Wheels and Deals, your trusted used car lot right here in Pomeroy, Ohio. Located at 308 East Main Street, Wheels and Deals is your one-stop destination for quality pre-owned vehicles. We've got a wide selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, and more, all waiting for you to take them for a spin. At Wheels and Deals, we understand that finding the perfect vehicle can be challenging. That's why our friendly and knowledgeable staff is here to help you every step of the way. We'll listen to your needs and budget to find the right car at the right price. So don't hesitate and contact us today at 740-992-4443 or visit us online at www.wheelsanddeals1.com. True fans know that success in basketball is all about tradition, dedication, and loyalty. Those same qualities are important to the Lockhart Insurance Agency. We care about what's important to you, and that's why we believe in helping you select the right insurance for your needs. We're proud to support companies like Ohio Mutual Insurance Group. If you want to protect your home, auto, farm, or business, you want Ohio Mutual on your team. Give us a call at 740-384-2020. We'd love to help evaluate your insurance needs and recommend the best coverage from the best companies like Ohio Mutual. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Lockhart Insurance, Buckeye Construction and Restoration, SF Restoration, Steel Isle Construction, Strickland Sales, McWilliams Funeral, the Patio Grubs and Suds, Oak Hill Chamber of Commerce, DDF Seamless Gutters, Precision One Masonry, Spring Street Sports, and Corrine Smith Photography. Welcome back to BMG Media's coverage of Vikings basketball. We start second half action. Vikings with the ball. Sharp has it. Gets it inside to Allman. Throws it into Heyer, and Heyer's going to be fouled. They're going to say on the floor.
Good high-low.
Fouls at number 5 of the Bulldogs.
And they can lay him alongside Brad Rose and John Brewster. Tyler Ward running the board for us. Caleb Linder on the camera. And that's our crew tonight as there's a three from the corner. Sharp knocks it down. And a big shot to start the second half by Cobra Sharp and the Vikings.
Needed Sharp to get going outside there. That helps.
Yeah, that's big time.
And Allman with a near turnover. And nearly another turnover. Brown steals it, loses it out of bounds.
There's a little tick with the Vikes. You see him turn it up a little bit. Flying around. That's going to be a difference.
And a turnover. On Martin, loses it out of bounds. 28-20. Brown has it out top, gets it inside to Allman. Allman tries to go up. Ball stripped away. Picked up by the Bulldogs' Mullins. He's going to drive, go coast to coast. Off the rim, no good. Rebound by Newsom, and his shot was knocked away, but he'll draw the foul.
Foul on number 5.
He will go to the line for two.
His second. The team's first of the third quarter. Number 24, Easton Newsom, shooting 2.
First shot up in it. 28-21. Second shot is in. Back to a 6-point game. Brown thought about a three. Gets it inside to Heyer. Heyer gets the ball poked from behind, and that'll.
It's not a jump. We're going to call this a jump ball,
We'll
yep.
call it a jump ball.
Yeah, you about have to there.
No one really had a clean look, so the ball will go to the Bulldogs. Wheatley has it and guarded out top. Sharp's on him now.
He might have dragged that foot.
No call. Mullins has it. It's got Allman guarding him. And he's going to spin, look for help. Kicks it back out to Mullins for three. Straight on. They're going to call a foul on Owen Heyer.
Yeah.
So to the line for three will be Zachariah.
Number 3, Owen Heyer, is second.
And he's going to have a chance to cut the lead 2-3 as the Vikings pick up their second foul of the quarter.
That's the first one down.
And the first two are in. 28-24. 4-point game. 6:11 to go. Third quarter. Third shot. Rims in, rims out. Hits the backboard and falls. The shooters touch, the shooters roll. 28-25. We got a 3-point ball game again. Bulldogs cutting into the lead. The Vikings extended it. The Bulldogs trimmed it right back down.
Sure did. I like this action that they're running here. The two low post screen, they just can't seem to find it.
So you talk about that little tick of the dial for the Vikings, but it looks like the Bulldogs have matched that. After they took that initial punch from the Vikings, they have counterpunched. And back to the line is the Bulldogs, Leo Martin. That's a third foul for the Vikings this quarter, and Martin has a chance to get this thing down to 1 point.
Bulldogs have definitely ratcheted up the efforts here.
And Brad, we talked about free throws. You talked about free throws.
Yeah,
the Bulldogs are hitting their free throws. The Vikings haven't really been hitting tonight.
That's what can win and lose a ball game for you.
The other big part of that is I noticed Coach Knight had Parker picking up number 3, Leo, full court. Now that he has 3, he's sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see now what's the adjustment they're going to make to that.
Sharp has the ball. We're at 5:35 to go in the third quarter, and a foul is going to be called against the Bulldogs.
I think Coach Knight's thinking to get a little bit smaller here, spread it out a little bit. Taking Allman out, maybe he goes a little bit out, 5 out, 4 out kind of action. See if he can open some shooters up.
Reynolds back in the game for the Vikings. Hembry in there. Sharp balls into Hayden Reynolds into the corner to Sharp. Sharp's going to drive. Good defense by the Bulldogs, and a strip and another turnover. And the Bulldogs can take their first lead of the night here as they're down by 1. Mullins has the ball out top. Gets it back over to Martin. Sets the screen. Sharp on him into the corner. And there's a drive by Mullins, and the ball stolen away. Vikings running up the court. Gets it over to Brown. Brown's got to look at a 3.
Big shot.
Huge shot by Garrett Brown, and the Vikings extend the lead.
That's big.
To 4 points. And the ball is lost out of bounds as Sharp was guarding Trainer. And he loses it out of bounds, and the Vikings have possession. 4:55 to go, third quarter. Again, the Bulldogs right with this Vikings team tonight from tip to now. Can they stay in the game? Can they keep the Vikings from getting on a scoring run as Brown goes up strong off glass? No good. He'll go to the line for 2. He hit a 3 last time down. He's going to try to extend that scoring streak to 5 with 4:39 to go in the third quarter.
Dogs had him in a great spot. Once they rotate it up high, they open up that lane to him. You just can't do that to a kid like that. He's going to get you every time.
And you've talked about a lot this season, Brad, the shiftiness of Garrett Brown. Even though he's a bigger statured kid, he has a way of moving in the paint, kind of like a point guard would.
Yeah, I mean, his body control reminds you of a point guard and like a power forward body almost.
He's an athlete.
So again, the Vikings miss another free throw. This was one of the better free throw shooting teams that I had seen in the first portion of the season this year, Brad. But all of a sudden, the faucet has just been shut off.
It's a struggle right now.
As Garrett hits the second, and the lead is up to 5, 32-27. Martin has it. He's got higher on him, kicks it back out. Newsom has it. He's going to drive. Puts up the shot off glass. And a foul. No, they're going to call a travel.
Okay.
Thought the foul was going to be called on Sharp, but they call a travel. Interesting call. 4:20 to go, third quarter. Vikings up by 5. Bulldogs need to stop right here. Hayden Reynolds with the ball. He's yet to score tonight after dropping 26 the other night. That's off the bench.
Good move.
Higher up, no good on the shot, but gets his own rebound. Into the corner, Brown for 3. This one's just to the right, and
that was an outstanding rebound.
A good rebound by Matt Hembry. Known for his defense and speed.
Not so much rebounding.
Not so much rebounding. Well, when you got guys out there like Hire and Allman and Brown and Ian Moeller, there's not much room left at the table for a 5'10" speedster. You know what, though? He can outrun them all.
That he can.
Every single one of them. Brown, deep, 3, got it! 35-27, the Vikings extend their lead. And a timeout called by Coach Kite as 3:33 left in the third quarter. A huge offensive output by Garrett Brown.
3 big clutch
in
shots
this
by
quarter.
Garrett here, in the second and third quarters. Vikings need him right now.
Yeah. I am going to go out on a limb and say, here comes the press. See if they can crank it up a little bit.
I agree.
And see if you can stretch it.
So the Bulldogs have been able to withstand the Vikings' punches. They have countered. All game long, the Vikings get up by 8, 10 points.
Yeah.
Here come the Bulldogs back, muddying things up, hitting some big shots. It's important for the Bulldogs in the last 3 minutes of this quarter to keep this lead trimmed.
Yeah.
They cannot let the Vikings get into the double-digit lead column because then you're looking at a team that, let's face it, they don't score a lot of points.
Yeah, no,
it's going to be hard
right.
to come back in one quarter if you're down by more than 10 points, and right now they find themselves down by 8.
Here's that press.
You're right, Brewster. They come out in the press.
They pull out pretty quick.
And there's a screen trying to get Martin open, and they're going to call a foul. This one's going to be on Hembry. It's going to be on Hire.
And that is why it's tough to do the press, because they're going to call that start.
Quit. When I start to do that, just slap me.
No.
I will.
I'm always wrong. Yeah, sure you will, Tyler. That's why you're all the way on the other end of the table. Get the ball into Martin. Bulldogs down by 8 points, 35-27. Martin drives.
Nice finish.
And he draws the foul.
Hesse was good.
Wow.
Brewster, you talked about Mr. Martin.
Yeah.
His best sport may be wrestling, not basketball.
Yeah.
So what's the advantages of a kid that can wrestle?
Leverage.
So how did he do what he just did on that play right there as he missed the free throw, but it goes out of bounds to the Vikings?
He's got good footwork, good speed, and leverage. He understands, getting somebody in a bad spot and taking advantage of it. This is by far, I told you guys this at halftime, it's the best that I've seen him play this year. And it's showing up for the Dogs.
So 35-29, it's a 6-point game now. We're nearing 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Again, the Bulldogs need a stop. Brown's got the ball. He's made the last. There's 3 more.
Big players make big shots,
That's
man.
11 points in the third quarter.
He's feeling it right now.
You might want to put a hand up on him.
3 threes from Garrett Brown as, maybe a foul, no call there.
Yeah.
And we've got a technical foul on Coach Cozart.
I think he earned that one tonight.
Well, I'm not going to fold him because it looked like a foul. It was not called. And listen, if you're Coach Cozart, every missed call like that affects this game.
Yeah.
And, could also it be him trying to fire his players up right now?
Yeah. Probably a little quick on the tee. I mean, maybe they talked to him before in the first half, but that seemed a little fast.
Is that something that coaches do, though? When they get those technical fouls called on them, is it for the sole purpose of not necessarily, I think you made a bad call and you're dumb or I hate you.
I'm with you.
It's to get the players fired up in a situation, right?
Yeah, I think it was legit on him. He had a legit beef on the call.
It looked like that was a foul.
And I think it was purposeful. He wants to get these kids' minds right here.
Absolutely.
So just like that, the Vikings back up by 10. We'll see
It's easy to play for a coach that battles for you.
Yes.
Absolutely. We'll see if the Bulldogs can get a stop here. The Vikings, again, we talked about it. In the corner, Garrett Brown finally missed one, and they're going to call foul.
Yep, that's the right call.
Foul's going to be called on Zachariah Mullins. He had a hold of Allman, and that's fifth foul. So it's going to go to the line here for 2 for Allman. Again, hasn't made much of a difference because every Viking out there is shooting poorly from the free throw line now tonight.
Not been anything real exciting.
This is a huge 2:30 though left in the third quarter. The Vikings up by 10 now. They can make it 12. They can make it 11. But you've got 2:30 left to go. We talked about it. This has to be, if you're a Bulldog fan, it's got to be a single-digit deficit going into the fourth quarter. Now, let me ask you this, Brewster. As a coach, you get the tee. You got to have that butt planted on that seat now for the rest of the game as the free throw is in and Mulder comes in for Ashton Allman as the Vikings lead 40-29. Does that affect how you coach? How do you?
Oh no.
I mean, nothing.
Nah.
You're good. You can coach from the seat.
I can be just as loud from the seat as I can standing up.
You can also throw a headset pretty far. I hear.
I've done that.
Maybe one time at Fairland, I believe there was a toss.
There was.
We have back when we did the podcast, we had a running joke. We called Fairland Unfairland. So
I plead the fifth.
you never know, man. Maybe you'll we've talked about this, you and I.
Yeah.
At some point, there's going to be, hopefully, a head coach, John Brewster, in football.
Oh.
Now, if you had your pick of the litter, if you could pick any school in Southeast Ohio, to let everybody know you're from the Cleveland area, which is why you're my friend.
Yeah.
It's nice to have another Brownie up here on the press row because I'm always outnumbered. But if you could pick a program, where would it be and why?
Oh, man, you put me in the spot.
He'll do that.
Man, here's the deal. I have been welcomed with open arms at Athens as an outsider.
Yeah.
And I would not choose anywhere else. I believe there's some sleeping giants in Southeast Ohio who don't get enough respect.
Right.
But listen, I've been blessed and lucky with Coach Adams and Coach White, being on their staff. Those dudes, I don't want to be with anybody else. I can't speak highly enough of those guys. Both different in their own aspect. But I've truly been blessed. My family's been blessed to be accepted in this community. And I enjoy it down here, man. Listen, I'm a hippie at heart, so I feel like I'm at home, being in the hills and that. But, when it comes to coaching, I am just honored and blessed to one, be around these kids, and two, have the opportunity to influence youngsters. But enough about me, man. Let's get back to the game.
So I ask a coach a question, and I get a coach's answer.
Well, you did. You asked for it.
Of course.
And it was beautifully eloquated there
It
because
was.
it was a correct answer. You can't. I'm sure he's got some other things he might say amongst his buddies, but you're not going to say that out on the air.
Wow. 41-30. Vikings.
I love it down here. Listen, and I love what you guys have done for these kids. These kids are lucky to have this kind of exposure and really have an area that they get to be seen, because that's something that wasn't always there for a lot of communities.
Oh, bodies flying everywhere.
They sure are, man.
We love doing this.
You guys do a great job.
We love it, and I have always said myself, I played some sports in high school, played baseball, and if I could go back and rewatch a baseball game that I played in, how awesome that would be. Now, we didn't have quite the technology back in 2004 and 2005. We do now, and so we're just trying to give back, because these guys are going to want to watch these games for years to come, put together highlight reels.
I love watching them, man.
Yeah, and it's just exciting for everybody that likes high school basketball, because let's face it, after the NIL deals, this is the last purest form of sports.
Man, you're right.
Well, we won't get started on that. So
Amateurism is its finest here.
1:43 to go. Third quarter, Vikings up by 11. The Bulldogs need to trim this lead. Martin, he loses it out of bounds. It was poked out of bounds, so it'll stay with the Bulldogs. Garrett Brown knocked it out of bounds. We're down to a minute and 38.
Big possession for the Dogs. Got to value it.
Bulldogs doing most of their damage from the line in this quarter as Martin had the look, drives to the rack off glass, and hits the shot. It's a 9-point game. Martin continuing to play big for the Bulldogs. 41-32, 1:22 to go, third quarter.
Now, if you're Coach Snyder, you're going for one, or do you feel like you're pressing it?
I don't think we play Belpre ball here. I think we go.
You go?
We go. Hayden Reynolds with the ball. Brown's got it. He thought about a three. He's going to drive inside. Puts it up. Draws the foul as bodies fly again. The foul's going to be on Mullins.
I think that's his fourth. That's big. That is number 4.
Number 44, Zach Mullins, his fourth.
It is.
That is 4 fouls for him, and he will come out, and Luke Mullins will come in as Garrett Brown going to try to take the lead back to double digits. Up by 9. First shot is in. 42-32, 10-point lead for the Vikings. One more shot left for Garrett Brown. We've got 1:10 to go in the third. Both teams with 5 fouls, so any more fouls in this quarter will be 2-point shots. Second
Garrett
shot
Brown
is in.
has put this team on his back
Sure
in the
has.
third quarter.
This quarter, yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely, yes. And now the Vikings back with the press. Martin,
Oh, slippery spot.
Henry slips. Martin ahead. And Martin's
it
going
is.
to take, thought about a three, gets it back out. There's a deep three.
Boom.
Big shot by McGammon. And we've got an 8-point game. Huge shot right there. The Bulldogs needed that one in a bad way.
They keep taking the punches.
45 seconds left. Now it looks like the Vikings will wait. 40 seconds. 43-35. Vikings up by 8. Sharp going to dribble, and the Bulldogs going to let him. Still setting back in that 2-3 zone. We got 30 seconds left.
I'd say here about 15 seconds you're going to see Coach Corzart say, come on, get him going a little bit.
We got 15 seconds left. Brown in motion. Brown with the ball now. 10 seconds left. Hayden Reynolds in the corner. Tried to get it into Moeller, and the ball is knocked away, but it's again loose on the floor, and the Bulldogs have it with 2 seconds left, and they're going to call travel. So the Vikings are going to take it out on the baseline with 2.5 seconds left.
That's tough. He tried to get it out before he stood.
Would have been huge if he could have gotten that ball down the floor and put up a last-second shot.
Yeah, that would have been big. I think he picked that knee up. I think that's what got him.
A big play here, 2.5 to go. Vikings up by 8. They get it in. It's stolen. And there is going to be no foul called.
Depends on what side you're on, man. If
Leo Martin,
you want to call, but
he shot that from half court. Looked like contact. Nicky Kozart can't really argue anymore.
No.
So all he can do is give a little stare and a smile. Some questionable calls, but both sides, I think, fairly evenly officiated game tonight so far. Fellas, we got an 8-point game with 8 minutes left. What can we expect in the fourth quarter?
What can't we expect in the fourth quarter? This is going to be a barn burner here, but you can tell Athens is fired up. They know they're in this game. You're single digits away, a few defensive stops here, and this is going to be really, really exciting down the stretch.
Yeah, I think if you would have told Coach Mickey, hey, going in the fourth quarter, 8-point game, I think he'd have smiled and said, okay.
Yeah, let's go.
So for them, I think they feel like they're in a good spot. Now Ben's going to get the ball coming out. How do you play? How do you get some stops and then get some points? I think that's kind of been the slow part. They played decent defense, but they really haven't capitalized on that at all.
We try to do a little bit better job in the fourth quarter of getting our ads out there for you guys because this game there's just been so much to talk about during these breaks. It's hard to get away.
There wasn't too many breaks there in the third.
Not really, not really at all. So, again, we thank our sponsors for allowing us to do this. Again, you see the ticker, you see the ads. Please use these sponsors.
Yeah, go out and support these guys.
Support the businesses because they literally pay the bills and allow you,
Don't take it for granted because this is not something that's everywhere. You guys have done a fantastic job.
Well, and, we have people, we talk about it all the time. We've got people that live in the Florida area in the winter that watch us. We have people in Indiana that watch every game as the Bulldogs come out with a big steal, and that's how you want to start the fourth quarter. Trainer has the ball for the Dogs, gets it over. Wheatley's got it. See if Wheatley takes another three. It's been a while since he's put one up.
The matchups are interesting. Benton's a little bit bigger. Athens is a little smaller, quicker. See if that makes a difference here.
And the ball is stolen away. Up and in. Tritipo. So just when it looked like the Bulldogs were going to trim that and lead some more, the Vikings extend it to 10. 7:15 to go, fourth quarter. Regardless of what happens, though, tonight, this is a Bulldog team, and if they can slow it down in the tournament, let's face it, they're going to be on the road first round of the tournament. If they can slow it down against a good team, they're going to give themselves a chance.
Yeah, we talked about that. I mean, you saw against McLean, you saw against Jackson. We talked about them being up at half against Jackson. They're got a team that is kind of annoying to play against because of that zone.
That's got to be a travel.
He got bailed out.
Yes, that ball got stuck on the hip, but they're going to call the foul on Wheatley, and that was absolutely a walk. Yeah, not the crispest game, and I will say this. We've talked about the Vikings offense the last 3 games. They came out and played in that second half against McLean really well.
Yeah.
New Hope, they put up 80 points. Wellston, they put up over 70 points. Right now they're on pace for about 60 points, which is about 20 less than what they've been the last 2 or 3 weeks. So you got to give the Bulldogs credit, especially on the defensive end of the ball.
Oh, look at that.
They have really slowed things down and made things difficult.
I'm telling you, it's something that is a frustrating thing to play against as a coach. It can be really a thorn in your behind.
Oh, they're going to say
stepped on the line
that the Bulldogs were on the line. So another turnover, and again, you get down under 7 minutes left.
Yeah.
Possessions are going to be limited. If the Bulldogs want to come and pull off an upset here, they're going to have
got to get stops.
to get stops, but not only that, but they're going to have to score.
Yeah.
And not just from the free throw line. 47-35.
And if you're Vinton and Coach Knight, you're thinking, hey, let's just get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's finish it.
Yep.
Let's play solid, clean basketball, make Athens have to get up in your grill and foul you, and let's get out of here, and live the scene of the day.
Heyer has it over to Brown. Brown drives. And they're going to call a blocking foul. Against Mullins.
Could have won either way.
Second foul against the Bulldogs, so they're going to have 3 more to 5. I will say this, there's been more bodies on the floor tonight, Brad, than I think I've seen all season long.
You are right. Yeah, without question.
And how much of that is a carryover from football, John? Because that football game last year was tight until the very end. The Vikings blew it open, but that was a game the Bulldogs could have just as easily won as they lost. Is there carryover from a football player that now plays on the basketball team? Do you remember those things?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think if you play, your mindset is to be physical. If that's the kind of way you play, absolutely. I mean, I feel like we talked about this at halftime. You look out there at the court, you see Vinton County a little thicker, a little bigger than than what the Athens kids are at this point in their stage of life. So I think so. There is always that carryover.
And we got a spring that's erupted down there on the low block.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
I think Kite just keeps missing all the wet spots.
Is that what it is?
Keep pointing out the other ones to him. Heyer says he'll help.
I will say it's hot here tonight, fellas.
All those assistants over there, not one of them will pick up some water for the coach. And now we've got a timeout after all that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so we've got a timeout. We're going to step aside here. A word from our sponsors. We'll be right back after this. This is BMG Media's live coverage of Viking basketball. Thank you to Corrine Smith Photography for allowing us to use her photos for our player of the game. Mention seeing this ad to her, and she will include a complimentary 8x10 photo. Contact Corrine today to schedule a session at 740-688-9928. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Lockard Insurance, Buckeye Construction and Restoration, SF Restoration, Steel Isle Construction, Strickland Sales, McWilliams Funeral, the Patio Grubs and Suds, Oak Hill Chamber of Commerce, DDF Seamless Gutters, Precision One Masonry, Spring Street Sports, and Corrine Smith Photography. Welcome back to Vinton County High School, BMG Media's live coverage of Vikings basketball. Nathan Lamb alongside Brad Rose and John Brewster. 5:59 to go, and to the line goes Garrett Brown. His first shot's up and in. That's 3 in a row for Garrett from the stripe. Having a big game for the Vikings tonight. 48-35, it's a 13-point game. And he gets that one to rattle in. That's now 14. Again, this has been such a exciting game that we haven't even looked at scores around the area, and there's some big games going on tonight in the TVC. The Bulldogs have it. Wheatley puts it over to Trainer into the corner. There's a 3 from the corner. No good, but they get the rebound. And back
Nice
up
feed.
Wheatley.
Good look inside.
And now the Bulldogs press. And the Vikings have a 2-on-1 if they hurry. Brown takes the short shot, no good. Ball was short, rebound by the Bulldogs. And straight ahead goes Mullins, and he's got
exactly what the Bulldogs
4
did.
in a row for the Bulldogs.
Back to 10.
10-point game. We are just over 5 minutes.
Brown in trouble.
And the Vikings finally break the press. Sharp with the ball. Next hosting Nelsonville York tonight, 57-51. The Marauders lead. That's a big-time matchup in the TVC Ohio. We'll see how that one turns out. River Valley leads Alexander 25-14 at the half, and we've got a collision
That's 5. They call that on the Dogs.
And they call an defensive foul. They do call it on
44.
Mullins.
Mullins.
So he'll take a seat with just under 5 minutes left. What's that do for this team?
That's tough, man.
Yeah.
That's real tough. He and Ashton kind of got tangled up there. That could have went either way.
Those are 2 big bodies on the ground. I got to imagine there's some wet spots.
Yeah. Yeah, we probably need the towel back out.
How about that? Coach Knight, man. Mr. Do-It-All.
He is.
Yeah.
Jackson and Miami Trace. It's a 2-point game. The Panthers up 36-34, that game in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
The only team to beat Southwestern this year is Wheelersburg. Right now, the Jeeps getting their revenge, 47-44, that game in the fourth quarter.
I got to watch them. They're solid.
Let me throw this score out and tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 how surprised you are. Warren and Marietta tied at 18 at the half.
I didn't know they were playing tonight.
That's crazy number.
At the half.
That's a crazy number.
That's stall ball at its
Now,
finest.
where's it at? That's the question.
It is at Marietta.
Oh, yeah. In the jungle.
And Brown drives off glass, gets it to fall, draws the foul. 51-39 with 4:44 to go in the fourth quarter. Garrett Brown, again, Brad, you said it perfectly, putting this team on his back.
Now, I'll ask you a question, fellas. Has anybody got a bucket besides him in the last 5 minutes or so?
I'll be honest with you. I doubt it.
Yeah.
I really doubt it.
Misses the free throw, and the ball's poked, picked up by Hayden Reynolds. 51-39, Vikings up. Sharp from the corner. Got it!
There you go.
Huge three, 54-39.
That's a dagger there.
Yeah,
And that right there is putting all the pressure on the Bulldogs right now. Down by 15, largest lead of the night for the Vikings, and it comes at the right time, midway through the fourth quarter. And a steal by Sharp. Sharp all the way to the rack, gets it to fall, 56-39. And the Vikings turning it on in the fourth. And the ball knocked away again. Newsom loses it. Reynolds back to Sharp. And a foul called, and to the line will go Sharp. That's the 5th foul of the quarter for the Bulldogs. As slow as the first 3 quarters were, this quarter has been
I was just about to say, feels like the floodgates are opening.
Yeah, they're getting it going now.
The line shooting 2.
Negs beats Nelsonville York 58-51. They remain one game behind the Vikings, which that game will be made up towards the end of the season. It could be for an outright championship, depending on how things. We are away. We are at the GOAT.
Always felt like it's a tough place to shoot there.
It is. It's one of those
bouncy rims.
It's one of the old school gymnasiums still in existence. You talk about a lot of the Hawking schools being, that old school type, the Belprys, the Southerns, the Fed Hawks.
I love going to Fed.
Negs is much the same.
Yes, it is.
As the free throw's good, 57-39.
There's something about Fed on the one side of stands. You just packed all the time. And their fans get after it.
They do. They love their basketball over in Stewart. You know what else they love? Dirt track racing. Skyline Speedway.
It's a good finish there.
To the line goes Luke Mullins. 57-41. 3:43 to go. The Bulldogs are going to need something short of a miracle here to come back in this one. The free throw's good. They're going to press. We got a substitution.
That's interesting.
Leo takes a seat.
We're at 58 now.
What did I say?
You said 57. They forgot to give him his first free throw.
Gotcha. That's why you are who you are, Tyler Ward.
I'm also 10 seconds off on the clock right now.
They called a foul here.
Foul is called on Hire. That's Hire's 4th. So he will take.
He's staying on the floor.
He will stay.
Ashton off.
Ashton and Reynolds take a seat. Henry back on the floor. And Seanborn. Webster up 49-44 over Wheelersburg. McCammett with the ball for the Bulldogs. Under 3:30 to go. He's going to drive, puts it up over Hire. They're going to call foul on Hire, and Hire is going to take a seat now.
Yeah.
Oh, that was quick.
No more staying in as he fouls out. And just like that, the Vikings with 3 fouls in the quarter.
Allman got just enough time to get a little drink. That's about it. Speaking of him, has he committed anywhere?
Campbell
University.
Good for him.
Division I. They play. I know that I saw the schedule. The first game of the year this year, they played the Liberty. Falcons. What are they?
I don't remember what their moniker is.
Liberty, but the Liberty that played the Oregon Ducks.
Right, yeah.
So that'll be a pretty big game to start his college career.
What's he playing?
He will be offensive lineman.
Gotcha.
And he just almost
he wanted it. He wanted that one.
And the ball's knocked free. Back to the Bulldogs. Mullins with it. Gets it over. And the shot is almost in. Thought they were going to call a foul there as Newsom hit the deck.
That's a great left-handed there by Sharp.
Sharp doing what he does. Making those crazy acrobatic shots at 60-42.
Makes it look easy.
So as close as this game has been all game long tonight, boy, this score is not going to look anywhere near.
It's not going to be indicative of the level of the game.
Absolutely not. This has been a barn burner. And how about this, fellas? River Valley at home hosting Alexander. They lead 35-33 in the third quarter. The Spartans looking for their first win of the year.
There you go.
Come on, Coach Skinner.
Down in Bidwell. And I can't believe that somebody in Bidwell has updated the score because it's almost like Miller. Like
maybe they're calling somebody outside of the area.
There's
Morse code.
There's no cell service. They dial up internet. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have high speed. Or satellite, maybe. I don't know.
Something.
Using that landline.
Listen, typically there are some places that it's hard to get scores from as games are going on. It just seems to be one of them, but maybe not because the Spartans are close to getting that first win. They're excited. Maybe should have had one last Tuesday. We talked a little bit about that before the game tonight. As it's a 20-point lead for the Vikings. 2:35 to go. What a game by the Bulldogs tonight. There's another shot by Trainer. Again, they played hard. They played well.
Yeah, I mean, most coaches will tell you we don't believe in a moral victory, but you got to take this one for what it was. You know, it showed that you can compete with some of the best because there's no question that Vinton is one of the better teams in the district this year.
And another turnover. Mullins has it, looking for somebody to help him. And I don't know what we're doing.
I don't know. I see people calling timeout. I see jump ball.
We've got. I have no idea. They're going to say tie up an Athens ball. Thought maybe for a second the players are just going to sit there and run the last 2 minutes out. Mullins was looking for anybody to help. Nobody there. So Dogs have it with 2:03 to go. Up, down by 18, and again we're wiping the floor. Yeah, maybe it's the heat. I know. Listen, I know it's hot in here. But let's be realistic here. It was -1 degree a week ago.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it decided it wanted to be May this week. So it's warm outside. It's hot in here.
Love Ohio, man.
Hey, and it doesn't matter northeast, southeast. It's all the same. Nice spin move, shot no good, rebound by Brown. Again, these Bulldogs not quitting tonight. And there,
Brown boy, I don't know that he's come out yet, guys. Has he? Has he played?
If he come off the floor, it's been very little.
Yeah. Well, and there's a reason for that because he's the reason the Vikings are up by 18 points right now.
He certainly was the one that weathered that storm there for a while.
It's going to be interesting to see how many points he has. I would, again, we're wiping the floor. I would say 25-ish.
I would say he's north of 20. He's got to be somewhere around 20.
We put about half of the output for the Vikings.
They got to be getting diminished returns on that towel by now, right?
I think you're just
as
rubbing
much as
the
it's
moisture
soaked
back
up.
onto the floor.
Well, that or there's a hole in it.
That's something going on.
And shots up and no good.
hockey subs.
Now, so Brewster, we talked about the Vikings and how they always seem to have 4 or 5 seniors that you have to replace every year. But a lot of the games, man, this is the 3rd or 4th quarter where we have, our bench players out there playing. How much does that help a program when you do that game after game?
Huge. Can't express that enough. Get those guys just a little bit of experience is huge. JV and varsity is different. It just is a different feeling, a different tempo. The ability for your older guys to really give yourself a margin to allow your younger guys to come in and get playing experience is huge.
Well,
can't say it enough.
And kind of the situation, Brad, this year we've got 8 seniors.
Yeah.
So they're not all going to be on the floor at the same time.
Right.
Although we did try to play with 6 there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Didn't quite work out.
No. Yeah, you definitely talk about a D team. This may be one of the deepest teams that I've seen here.
Yeah.
And they're going to call over and back on Critipo.
Asher fell a little asleep there.
And that was the correct call.
Yeah, there's no question. Some of your guys that come off the bench are starters on other teams. There's no question. And to talk about that, as a high school kid, to accept that and
yeah, how hard is that as a
man.
coach to have a kid that knows he could start anywhere else around, but have to come off the bench in the 2nd quarter every night?
It is an indictment of your program and who you are as a staff and how you manage those personalities. Because not everybody can do that. That's not easy to do, especially nowadays, social media and everything like that. It is difficult. I mean, you see it in the NIL in college. You're managing your guys just as much as you're recruiting other guys.
Right.
So,
yeah, and if you don't get the playing time you want, you just go somewhere else.
Yes. And it also helps when you win. It's good when you win.
True. Yeah.
But also it just shows your coaches. Those guys have to trust. I mean, you look over there, you got some experience over there. Dudes that's done it for a while, been successful at doing it. And one thing I've always said about Vinton, you guys have had some of the best middle school coaches in the program from bottom up. Yeah. That makes a difference, and you see that. I mean, you don't just stay good for 20-plus years. I mean, I know Coach Combs was a great one, but that starts from top to bottom.
Right. Well, and I think, honestly, in our case, Brad, I think it started from the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
It did kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it has for years.
Back in the 90s when they started the youth program.
When the youth program started by that man over there, Bob Willow, there was a lot. And right about the time Combs come, you were getting those 4 full classes that had been playing since like 2nd and 3rd grade, getting exposure and playing in the Hocking Valley League and in the rec league here.
Yeah. That is vital to a successful long-term consistency of a program.
It is, and when you have 20 kids at the 7th grade level and another 20 coming out the 8th grade level to have to try out for a team in junior high and kids get cut, that's tough. Not every school cuts
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and another thing is the parents. We've had some really good parents. And so like Alicia Clare, Alicia and Mike Clare, their son, middle schooler, very good ball player. They share those games every time they play home or away. And a lot of times if I'm out of town, I'm watching it.
Yeah.
I'm watching a middle school game, whereas I wouldn't have
any other time.
Yeah. So it's a big shout out to the parents here. As we are under 20 seconds, Moeller thought he had a block, but we're going to call a foul, and to the line will go Newsom.
You talked about bringing reserve guys in. Listen, these kids haven't missed a step. I mean, they just didn't come in just to say, hey, I'm playing. They're out here hustling.
Right.
A few steals. Tritipo had a great rebound, went coast to coast.
And the free throw is in and out, rattled out, 67-47, 20-point game. Again, this has been one of the better games we've witnessed all season, Brad.
Yeah.
And the second free throw's in, 19-point game, 19 seconds left.
Again, the score's not really indicative of the game flow. I mean, until late, this is a ball game.
And up and in is Woodard. 69-48. 5 seconds to go, and the Bulldogs are going to wind it down. And that's going to do it. That's going to be the final tonight, 69-48. The Vikings survive what was a very, very tight game.
Early on, I wouldn't have projected these two scores. I really thought it'd be a little bit lower than this, but things really got going there halfway through the 3rd and the 4th. Both teams scored a lot.
So, again, the Vikings weathered the storm. In the fourth quarter, they really piled it on. It was Garrett Brown's show in the second half.
Yeah.
Big third quarter by him, fourth quarter as well. What do you take away from this if you're Coach Kozart and the Bulldogs, knowing that you just took the leader in the TVC to the wire for 3.5 quarters? What can you take away from this in your next game?
You can play basketball. You can compete with the best. Effort. You got to finish, right? We talked about that early in the game. You know, the biggest bugaboo they've had is finish. They've been up on Jackson. They've been up on some teams. Can you finish games out, and can you sustain runs? You know, when Vinton made those runs, they never were able to kind of crack the scoring column and kind of make that still a back and forth. And Vinton just really kind of, the floodgates open, and then it was, you know, we saw what happened. But as you take it away, look, you're a young team. You're gaining experience. You're getting better. That's the important thing. Are you better from the first time you played them to the last time you played them?
Right.
And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. So, they're shutting the scoreboard off and the lights. They've done the
They're
lights
trying
the
to
last
run us
couple
out.
times.
Yeah.
I do believe we're going to have,
It's interesting.
Coach Kite's going to come out, I think, and speak with us. I think. We might have that worked out. So we'll see. See if there's any other scores around the area tonight.
Yeah, what's the Marietta game looking like?
Yeah.
That's a big one. That's a big one for Vinton. Which way that goes.
It is.
as far as that.
Yes, absolutely is.
You know, and now what we're sitting there, how do you guys feel about the new ranking system? What's your guys' opinion on that?
I like it.
You like it?
I know there's a lot of people that are old school and probably hate it, think the coaches should decide.
Yeah.
But there's not going to be any manipulation to it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I like it. Maybe after this draw, maybe I won't like it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that goes. I haven't dug in too deep into it and how they decide the rankings, but there's a strength of scheduling, correct, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like a weighted system, yeah?
It is. It's similar to the way they do the football
Is it?
rankings. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, it is what it is. You still got to beat the best to make it to where you want to go. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
absolutely.
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Look at some of these scores around the area. Jackson now down by 3, 41-38 in the fourth quarter to Miami Trace. That FAC game, pretty big one in the FAC. 18-18, still at the half in Marietta, the Warren Warriors and the Warren Marietta Tigers, if I can speak correctly. Somehow, and again, I'm using the ScoreStream app, somehow South Webster lost 3 points, and the game is now tied 54-54 with Wheelersburg. We're up 57-54,
Yeah,
so I'm not sure what happened there, but they lost 3. Let's see. We did mention the Meigs Marauders beat the Nelsonville York Buckeyes 58-51, a close game down in Rock Springs.
Who's Fed Hawk got tonight?
Federal Hawking beat the Belpre Eagles at home, a team that they lost to on the road,
right? Yeah.
71-66 in a high-scoring game. And
Oh,
I would almost have to guarantee you that Cottrell was back,
yeah.
tonight. He warmed up on Tuesday night against the Nelsonville York Buckeyes. And again, we're talking about the Fed Hawk Lancers,
Yeah.
a team that is coming here tomorrow night to take on the Vikings, and what will be a very big game for the Vikings, because if you can pick up a win,
Yes.
and you talk about the rankings and how they're done,
Yes.
you pick up a win against a team in Fed Hawk that's going to win 14, 15 games, maybe even the TVC Hawking. That's a huge win for the Vikings in terms of tournament play. But not only that, morale. They're a very good team over in Fed Hawk, and they can score at will when they're on fire.
It'll be interesting because it's definitely a night and day difference of play style.
Right.
Dogs slow it down, 2-3 zone. Fed's going to get the ball and they're going to go. It's going to be a very fast pace.
Let's preview that game. Now we got a second. You've seen Fed Hawk.
Yeah.
We know the kids. We've seen them. Brad's seen them since they were in Biddy League.
Yeah.
What do we expect tomorrow night here at Vinton County High School between these two? Because we've seen the Vikings play slow. We've seen them play fast. They've got quickness. They've got size. What are we going to witness tomorrow night?
Well, you're going to have the advantage in size, I think, on the interior, which is good. But you're going to have to rely a lot on a fast pace of those guards with Cottrell and Earhart, right?
Earhart,
yeah.
Earhart,
I mean, they are two of the best that have come through Southeast Ohio.
Did both of them score 1,000 points this year, Brad?
I
know Earhart
I would
did.
say so.
Earhart did, because I was watching the stream of that game. That was actually, I think, when they were playing South Webster.
I think you're right.
A team that beat the Vikings earlier at South Webster went to Stewart and beat Fed Hawk by a similar score.
Yeah.
But also,
two kids that just fill it up.
Let me ask you this.
Ever since, like I said,
Yes.
second grade, every single year.
You look at a Fed Hawk program that's Division IV, smallest division in basketball in the state of Ohio. There are scheduling teams like Marietta.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
scheduling teams
they're
like
scared,
Southwestern, Vinton County. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So you know that you've got the confidence to play with those teams because you're playing them.
Yeah. When you got two kids like that, man, it makes things easy, and they coach so well. He gets after him, and he does it the right way. And even kids that you see a difference from their freshman year to their varsity, and that's the biggest thing that I've taken away in the years that we've played them and when I've coached against them. I've seen some kids who may have struggled when they were younger, and then they go out on a Friday night as a senior, and they just you see the difference. So clearly, great coaching over there as well.
We got Coach coming up.
Coach is coming up. All right.
You sure? Okay.
Making his way.
The coach, the towel boy, everything, man. Did it all tonight.
Yes. Coach, you won again.
We did.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I would tell you the score, but I guess we're saving power and we shut the scoreboards off.
It was 69-48.
Okay, I figured you'd know. Garrett Brown tonight, talk about a kid that really put the team on his back. Brad said it in the second half, and especially the third quarter. I think he had like 11 or 13 straight points.
Yeah.
How big of a factor was he tonight in terms of pulling this one out at the end, because this was a tight game?
Oh, absolutely. That wasn't a 21-point game, obviously. I thought obviously Garrett was fantastic there in the second half. He got it going. Cobra got it going. I just thought that I thought it was a team effort. I mean, guys who didn't score did other things. Your guys like Matt Hembry and Parker Schonborn and stuff like that. I mean, they're never going to score 20 points in a game, but, man, they can affect it in certain ways.
So the Bulldogs come out in the zone, typically do. How big of a factor was that in terms of limiting your offensive output in the first 2 quarters, 3 quarters?
Oh,
they did a really good job muddying it up and keeping it low. And
they do.
We talked about it pregame. If the Bulldogs were going to pull off the upset, this was going to have to be a low-scoring game, and it was for a while. Yeah,
and, that's the thing. We jumped out. I think it was 17-6 that we jumped out to start the game and kind of had things going. Then, basketball's a funny game. There's times I'll get feelings over there where I'm like, daggone, I don't like that. We were up 17-6 and got fouled, and we missed both free throws. Then Athens came down and hit a 3, and it was just like, here we go. It's a game again. We kind of fended them off there in the first half there. They made a run. We kind of bounced back. I think we led by 5 at halftime. And then, came out and hit a big 3. Garrett hit a big 3 to start the third. So I thought, okay, we'll get things rolling now. Well, then Athens did a good job attacking the basket. We didn't do a good job defensively, fouled, leaving our feet, trying to block shots. We fouled. I think Athens cut it to 1 at one point, if I remember correctly, 28-27 or something like that. And then, our guys responded. I tell our guys all the time, championship teams win games when you're not playing your best. Yeah. All right, I thought we did a good job of doing that, just finding a way.
Absolutely, and that's, we talked about it all game long. This was a Bulldogs team that, they've won some games this year when they've slowed things down, played great defense, and they did that for quite a while tonight, but they took our punch, and then they counterpunched, and they did that multiple times. Yeah. They just weren't able to do that in the fourth quarter, and we were able to string it out and pull away for the win. You guys moved to 13-2 or 12-2. 12-2 on the season. You're now 7-0 in conference play. Yeah. Megs picked up a big win tonight at home against Nelsonville York. They won, I think, by 7 points.
Oh, okay.
Down on the river. So that's again down the road. We'll see what happens in terms of that makeup game, which I'm kind of glad that it is a makeup game because it kind of puts the spotlight on it more. And then I'm not saying that it's going to be us and them because there's a long way to go from now.
Absolutely.
But it's got the ability and the position to be in a fun spot for us. But let's quickly, before we get you out of here, let's talk about tomorrow night. We've spent some time up here talking about the Fed Hawk team. Very, very talented Division IV team. They've got 2 kids that can light up 40 points tonight.
2,000-point scores in the same grade on the same team. You don't see that very often.
So what are we going to see tonight? We saw a team that wanted to slow it down, play zone, keep us off the scoreboard, keep us out of the paint, keep us around the perimeter. What are we going to see tomorrow night when we have Fed Hawk here?
Maybe something similar. It's funny. Last year they played as fast as they could possibly play, and this year it's not the same. It's not that they don't play the same way. Like I've seen them a few times, and really have expected to see them, fly up and down the floor, press all over the place like they did last year, and they don't do that. So they play a 1-2-2. They'll throw a 2-3 at you. They've got an extended 1-3-1. So yeah, I mean the good news for us going into this, of course, the good news for them also. We've kind of already prepared for them because we thought we were going to play them last week. So we got ready in practice. So we won't need as much prep time. So we're just going to come in about an hour before the JV game tomorrow and work on that. Like you said, obviously those two guards are a problem. That Earhart kid needs no space to knock down anything. I watched them play South Webster a couple weeks ago, and he was hitting shots that were just ridiculous.
I think that was the game he hit his 1,000
It
points.
was, yes. And then obviously the Cottrell kid, man, that kid's just such a winner. I mean, he's 5'5". It seems like he gets every rebound.
Plays
loose
like
ball.
6'3".
Oh my gosh, yes.
So you're going to have 3 1,000-point scorers on the floor tomorrow night here at Vinton County High School. I would imagine that if you don't plan on coming, maybe you should think about it, rethink it. There's going to be the potential for a lot of action tonight. We've got 3,000-point scorers, 2 for them, 1 for us. You also have Sharp. You also have Reynolds. You also have Owen Heyer and Ashton Allman that are going to have a size advantage tomorrow night. Could this be a 95-92 game?
Like I said, I hope it's that high scoring because that would favor us. But I think they're going to do a good job like Athens did. I mean, Coach Cozart has such a good game plan coming into tonight. I told him that after the game. I mean, this league's one of those things. I mean, any league, not just this league. The second time around, I mean, even if you beat a team handily the first time, I mean, they know what you do. They can adjust to what they did the first time, and you got to kind of try to adjust to what they're doing.
Yep, and that's why they say it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a year. If you meet somebody in the tournament, which is possible that this could be a tournament game.
Sure. How many times have we met 3 times? I mean, it's been multiple years.
It's been a few times, but even before Athens came to the TVC, we met them in the tournament quite often.
Right.
All right, so Coach, we'll get you out of here. We want to thank you for coming up.
Thank you.
Win number 28, baby. Let's keep racking them up, bub. Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. We'll let you get over to the radio, guys. Thanks for coming up first tonight, Coach. We appreciate it.
Hey, no problem.
All right, fellas. That's going to wrap it up tonight for BMG's coverage of Vikings basketball.
Appreciate it, man.
Johnny, thanks for coming over, man. We appreciate you coming up.
Phenomenal job, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
You helped us out with the roster. You helped us out with a lot of stuff tonight. Brought a lot of good insight to the matchup. We appreciate it tremendously. 46-39, the Tigers are up on the Warriors at the moment.
I think there's a couple minutes left.
Yeah, a couple minutes left. So that actually is on YouTube. If you can search it, find it, watch it, whatever.
I think it's underneath their school, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up here from Vinton County. We watched a tremendous game tonight.
It was fun.
Back and forth, heavyweight battle, I guess you could call it, between Athens and Vinton County. The Vikings win tonight and remain unbeaten in TVC Ohio action. They will be, again, like we said, back here at home tomorrow night on Saturday to take on the dangerous Fedhawk Lancers, and that could be a very exciting game, everybody. If you're watching out there, make plans to come out and watch that one because that's going to be fun tomorrow night. So for Brad Rose, John Brewster, our crew, Tyler, and Mr. Linder on the camera, we appreciate each and every one of you. Our time is up, and as always, we thank you for yours. We will be back. Until then, so long, everybody.